In a quiet corner of the forest lived a little rabbit, the softest shade of blue. This blue rabbit had a big heart and a never-ending joy. But he had a habit that drove him into a new hustle every day: his clutter. Every corner of his nest bore a trace of the items he'd left the day before. A brush on a stone, a ribbon on the windowsill, a carrot and his notebook in the grass. It was as if all his belongings had wandered off on their own. The blue rabbit's mornings usually began not with curiosity, but with a search. Sometimes he'd try to find his lost brush. Sometimes he'd try to remember where he'd left the pages of his journal. The more he searched, the more tired he became. The more exhausted he became, the more he drifted away from the beauty of the day. One morning, as the sun filtered through the leaves, the blue rabbit was preparing to embark on a long forest exploration. But his favourite little exploration bag was nowhere to be found. He searched the grass, the stone, the hollow of a tree, and even the most secluded corners of his burrow. But the bag remained unfound. The longer his search dragged on, the more his excitement gave way to disappointment. His exploration plan, like his bag, quietly vanished. As the sun set, he looked around carefully as he returned to his burrow. In every corner, he noticed a different object. The clutter made even the little rabbit's steps heavy. A gentle thought crossed his mind. I wonder if everything had a place, if time was spent living instead of searching. That evening, the blue rabbit made a decision. He could try to be organised. Perhaps this would make his life easier and more joyful. The next morning, as the sun caressed the door of his burrow, the blue rabbit set to work. He placed his play supplies in a basket, arranged his paintbrushes in a small box, and placed his daily belongings on a wooden shelf. Amidst all this order, he finally found his long-lost exploration bag under his bed. This time, he hung it on a special hook. It would remain there forever. As the days passed, his nest became not only tidy, but also peaceful. The blue rabbit no longer greeted his mornings with anxiety, but with joy. The time he had spent searching was now returned to him, to wandering the forest, discovering new places, and pursuing his dreams. And that day, the blue rabbit realized that order not only allowed his belongings to breathe freely, but also his heart. From that day on, the blue rabbit never lost his joy, his curiosity, or his sense of order. Every time the forest wind blew, he smiled peacefully in his spotless nest. Thus, the little blue rabbit, who had forgotten how tidy he was, learned how beautiful order actually makes life.